Hey guys, how are you? I hope all of you are doing really good. So welcome to Economics for Finance Excellency batch. Okay, so what we have been doing, we have been talking about the international trade. Now, before we start with this lecture, a small message for all of you, all the guys, that guys, I've seen in the recent past, in the last few days, lots of students have been asking for the notes, right? That sir, either from me, that sir, give me the PDF of the notes. So one clear message, no PDF of the notes is available, right? As simple as that. And some of them have been commenting on the students who have purchased the books that please provide us with the notes. Guys, please listen to it very carefully. If you can't invest in your future, please respect the work of a teacher, right? You can absolutely leave from here. You guys force us to do things like that. Now I'm not going to show the book right now. It is on the screen. I'm going to take it away from you guys, right? I'll just give you the crux of all the topics. You will need the books to study from there. Very simple, clear cut, sir. I'll show the books very less now. I'll just explain it in the one-liners, then read it from the book, because the real content that you want to write in the examination is contained in the books only, right? Or you can study from the ICAI mat, which is really complicated. You can just, hit your mind in that. That's totally your choice, right? If you don't learn to respect the work, if you don't learn to invest in your future, that's your problem. That's your problem. But that you people are forcing us to do like things like this. I'm very clear about it now. No books, very little of the book's content will be shown now on the screen. Now, let's start with the theories of international trade. So we were discussing about the theories of international trade. In that, we are going to study the second theory. In the last lecture, we discussed about the first theory, that was the mercantilist approach. We have already discussed about it. Now, the second theory, in this particular lecture, we are going to discuss, we'll try to discuss three major theories, right? Advantage theories, we can say. I can call them as advantage theories, right? Advantage theories. So what does this advantage theory says? There are three theories in this advantage part. One is the theory of absolute advantage. One is theory of absolute advantage. Then we have theory of comparative advantage. Theory of comparative advantage. The next is theory of comparative advantage. Theory of comparative advantage with opportunity cost. With opportunity cost. Right? Now, you have two options. Either you can go for the ICAI material, you can read it from the ICAI material, in which you will get all the things in the paragraph form. Keep trying to understand, that is your choice. Or you can get it from our books. You will need to buy from our website, that is www.ksjteaching.org, in which I have given the examples also, and in the very simplified way I have explained these theories. So that is totally your choice now. I'm not going to show the books. Okay, so the theory of absolute advantage, this was given by Adam Smith. This theory of absolute advantage, this was given by Adam Smith. The theory of comparative advantage was given by David Ricardo, right? This was given by David Ricardo. And the theory of comparative advantage with opportunity cost was given by Habler. It was given by Habler. Right? It is known as Haberler, but it is Habler basically. Right? So these are the three theories with the little variations. Now let's talk about the theory of absolute advantage. So the first theory that we are going to discuss is the theory of absolute advantage. Theory of absolute advantage. Now what does this theory says? This theory says that we need to do the international trade. The two countries will do the international trade if they have absolute advantage in the manufacturing of one product. Try to understand with the help of example. He says there are two products. There are two products. One product is X and another product is Y, right? One product is X and another product is Y. And on the other hand, there are two countries. One is country A, and another one is country B. Right? Country A and country B. Now, country A says, I can manufacture X. Country B says, I can also manufacture X. What's the big deal? Now, country A says, I can manufacture Y. Country B says, I can also manufacture Y. What's the big deal? But what is the difference in the manufacturing? Country A says, I can manufacture 30 units per hour. 30 units per hour. Country B says, I can manufacture only 5 units per hour. Right? Now, country A says, I can manufacture, for Y, I can manufacture 20 units per hour. Now, country B says, I can manufacture more, I can manufacture 25 units per hour. 25 units per hour, right? Now, both the countries want to engage in the advantageous international trade. Both of these want to advantageous international trade. What they will do is, these countries will say, country A will say, I can manufacture more units of X. So I will manufacture X. Country B says, I can manufacture more units of Y. So I will manufacture Y. We will do the international trade that country A will manufacture X and export it to country B. Country B will manufacture Y and export it to country X. In this way, what is happening is both the countries are at advantage, right? So one country is having an absolute advantage. Absolute advantage means in the proper number forms, they have the absolute advantage, not in any fractions, not in percentage, in the absolute numbers. They have the advantage of manufacturing a particular product more than the other country, right? So what will happen in this case? What will happen in this case is that country A has absolute advantage. Country A has absolute advantage in product X, right? So it will manufacture. Product X and export it and export to country B, right? And similarly, what will happen is, the country B will manufacture product Y because country B has absolute advantage in product Y, right? So country B has absolute advantage in product Y, right? So country B will manufacture product Y and export it to country A, right? So this is what is known as, they call it as 2 into 2 model. This is known as 2 into 2 model. That is 2 products and 2 countries, right? With the same resources, they have all the resources same. The only thing is, due to the technological differences, due to the skill differences, one country can manufacture more, right, than the other country. So country A can manufacture 30 units in 1 hour for the product X, whereas country B can manufacture only 5 units. So country A says, I have the advantage in this, that I can manufacture more number of units in 1 hour. I will send these units to you, right? I will manufacture X and send it to you. Country B says, I can manufacture more units of Y. I will manufacture Y and send it to you, right? But there was one major flaw in this. One major flaw in this theory. What is that major flaw? That in case, let's take an example. What is the major flaw? Try to understand. Let's say, again, we say there are two products. There are two products, X and Y, right? And again, you have two countries, country A and country B. Now, country A can manufacture 30 units in 1 hour, 30 units per hour, and country B can also manufacture 5 units per hour, right? And in case of Y, we say the country A can manufacture 25 units per hour. And here, country B can manufacture 20 units per hour. Now, what is the problem here? The problem here is that country A is having absolute advantage in both the products. Now, if one country is having absolute advantage in both the products, then how can the international trade take place? There will only be a one-way flow between A and B, right? There will be no beneficial trade between A and B. In this case, uh, there was a benefit for both the countries, but here the country B will not be at a benefit. Why, sir? Because country B will have to import everything, whereas country A will only export everything. So one country is at an advantage and another country is at a less advantage. So that was the biggest drawback here, that if one country is having an absolute advantage, what we are saying, one country is having an absolute advantage in both the products, then how can the international trade take place? The international transactions cannot take place in such a case. So this was the disadvantage of, this was what this was given as the disadvantage of absolute advantage theory, right? The biggest disadvantage. Then they say there was another disadvantage, that they considered the labor as the factor only, right? So everything is given in the books. This example is given in the books. Advantages you can read and disadvantages you can read. I have explained everything. I have explained the basic about the theory, that what this theory says, that one country has an absolute advantage in terms of the number of units, or in particular numbers we can do it, right? So that is what is known as the theory of absolute advantage, right? So this was the first theory. It was given by Adam Smith. Now the second theory is the theory of comparative advantage by David Ricardo. Theory of comparative advantage by David Ricardo. The second one is theory of comparative advantage. Theory of comparative advantage. Now he says, whatever the drawback was here, this was the biggest drawback, that if one country has absolute advantage in both the products, then how can the international trade take place? Can there be a two-way flow? Yes. This theory of comparative advantage explains that even if one country has absolute advantage in the manufacturing of the two products, it is again what? It is again a 2 into 2 model. That is two products and two countries, right? But he says, even if one country has absolute advantage in the manufacturing of both the products, even then the international trade can take place between the countries. How? Let's try to understand with the help of example again. We say there are two products, right? Because it is again a two model, X and Y, right? And again you have country A, and country B. Country A and country B, right? So what is the product X? The product X says, the country A says, the product, how can the product speak, sir? What are you saying? Country A says that I can take 40 hours. I can manufacture 1 unit in 40 hours. Country B says, for the same unit, the country B is taking the 60 hours. For manufacturing 1 unit, country A is taking 40 hours, whereas country B is taking 60 hours. On the other hand, what about the Y, sir? Country A is taking 45 hours per unit. 45 hours per unit. And country B is taking 50 hours per unit. 50 hours per unit. Right? Now what is this? Just try to analyze this example. Country A has an absolute advantage in both the products. What I am saying is that country A, the first thing that you can interpret from here is that country A has absolute advantage. Country A has absolute advantage in both product X and Y. Right? In both the products, country A is having an absolute advantage. But still, this theory says, the David Ricardo says in this theory, that still the international trade can take place. How it can take place? He says, we will do the comparative analysis. we will do the comparative analysis. How, sir? How the comparative analysis will be done? For product X, we say that country B is taking more time than country A. Right? For the product Y also this holds true. The country B is taking more time to manufacture one unit than product A, country A, sorry. Right? But how much extra time it is being taken? How much time? So he says we will do the comparative cost ratio. We'll do the comparative analysis, right? So we'll calculate here comparative analysis. What is comparative analysis? He says, tell us that for the product X, how many times the extra time is being taken by country B, that is 60 divided by 40. 60 divided by 40, that is 1.5 times. That to manufacture one unit, country B is taking 1.5 times the more time than country A. Right? What does this mean? What does this interpret? This is the interpretation says that country B is taking 1.5 times more time than to manufacture one unit than country A. Right? That country B is taking more time than country A. How much more time? 1.5 times. Similarly, if we talk about product Y, in this case also, we can find out 50 divided by 45, that is 1.11 times. Here we say that country B is taking 1.11 times more than the country A. Here we can say that country B is taking 1.11 times more time than country A. Right? So this is the interpretation here, that how much more extra time is being taken by country B, 1.5 times and 1.11 times. Now listen to it very carefully here. Listen to it very carefully. One second. Now he says, in this scenario, what is happening? Country B is at a disadvantage, right? Because it is taking more time to manufacture one product than country A. Country B is at a disadvantage, we agree, right? But out of the two products where the disadvantage is less, what I'm saying is, out of the country B is at a disadvantage in both the products, that is absolutely clear, because it is taking 1.5 and 1.11 time, right, to manufacture. If country A is in manufacturing 40, they are taking 60, that is 1.5 times. Clear? And 1.11. Now I say, out of the two products where the disadvantage of the product B is less. Sir, obviously, where will it be less? Sir, it will be less at this point. For the product Y, the disadvantage will be there, but the disadvantage of the product, this country B, will be less, right? It is 1.11 times, whereas for product X, it is 1.5 times, right? So in this case, for this particular product, for product Y, we can say the disadvantage of country B, not product. What I'm saying is the disadvantage of country B will be less in product Y. Right? Because here the time taken is 1.11 times. Here it is 1.5 times. So country B is taking more time in comparison to country A in case of product X, whereas in case of product Y, there is a small difference in the time. So the disadvantage is there, but it is smaller in the product Y. That means from here, I can say in this case, the disadvantage of the B will be higher. That means the advantage of the A will be higher. Disadvantage of one country means another country's advantage, right? So here I can say advantage of country A will be higher. Country A will be higher, right? Because country A is taking less time, 1.5 times less time. Clear? Whereas the country B will having less disadvantage in the product Y. So how the international trade will take place? How the international trade will take place? Sir, country A, how the international trade will take place? Country A is having more advantage in X because the time difference is more, 1.5 times, right? Gap is more. So country A will manufacture product X, right? Why? Because country A is having the higher advantage in product X, and country B will manufacture which product? Product Y, because the country B is having less disadvantage in product Y, right? Less disadvantage in product Y. So this is the known as theory of comparative advantage, right? So what will be the impact on country A? Let's talk about the impact on country A. Let's try to understand what country A will do. What country A will do. Now we say country A will manufacture product X. That is absolutely correct. Now in the numerical terms, if I want to calculate that, how is it going to be there? How is it going to be possible? One second, sir. We'll take some darker color. That how is it going to be possible, sir? Let's try to understand. We say that country A is manufacturing how many units in 40 hours? 1 unit, right? For product X, it is taking 40 hours is equal to 1 unit, right? Now, if I say I want to calculate how much can be manufactured in 1 hour, he says 1 by 40 units, right? 1 by 40 units, right, sir? Now, for product Y, he says this particular country A is taking how many hours? 45 hours. 45 hours for 1 unit, right? Now, I can say how many units can be done in 1 hour? 1 by 45 units. So now I have both the equations in 1 hour. Can I equate them? Yes, sir. Can I equate them? Yes, sir. So he says this is equation number 1. This is equation number 2. Let's equate both these equations. What is saying? In 1 hour, you can manufacture 1 by 40 of X. Right? In 1 hour, you can manufacture 1 by 40 of X. And in the same 1 hour, you can manufacture 1 by 45 of Y. Right? Because both the equations I have converted in 1 hour. In 1 hour, you can manufacture 1 by 40 units of X. This is what I have written. In 1 hour, you can manufacture 1 by 45 units of Y. This is what I have written. So he says, if you want to calculate what is the 1 unit of X, right? 1 unit of X. Now, what I will do is I'll take 40 here. I'll say 1 unit of X is equal to 40 by 45 units of Y. That means in 1 hour, if you are manufacturing 1 unit of X, then in the same 1 hour, how many units of the Y can be manufactured? That comes to 1X is equal to 0.89 Y. Right? So it is advantageous for the country A. Country A will manufacture X, and because in 1 hour, country A can manufacture 1X, whereas the country A can manufacture only 0.89 units of the Y, right? This is for 1 hour. This is for 1 hour. I'm going to repeat it again. Listen to it very carefully. If I say in 1 hour, if the country A is manufacturing 1 unit of X, then how many units of the Y can be manufactured in that same 1 hour? It is 0.89Y, right? 0.89Y. So what is the net gain? What is the net gain, sir? What is the net gain? 1 minus 0.89 is equal to 0.11 units. Right? So country A, what will country A do? The country A will manufacture X, product X, and export it to country B. Now, this is what we studied about country A. Now, the same way, let's try to understand the impact on country B. Let's try to understand the impact on country B. What will be the impact on country B, sir? Now, the country B says that for product X, what you can do is you can manufacture in 60 hours 1 unit. 60 hours you can manufacture 1 unit, right? So if I say in 1 hour, how many units can be manufactured? 1 by 60 units of X. Clear, sir? So this is your equation number 1. For product Y, he says 50 hours for 1 unit. If I'm not wrong, 50 hours for 1 unit, right? 50 hours for 1 unit of Y. So if I say in 1 hour, how many units can be manufactured? 1 by 50Y. This is equation number 2. Now, both the equations are in 1 hour. I can equate them, right? So I say 1 by 60X is equal to 1 by 50Y, right? Now I say, now we identified that country Y wants to manufacture, the country B wants to manufacture product Y. Now if I say, if this country wants to manufacture 1 unit of Y, how many units of the X will be there? How many units of the X will be there? 50 divided by 60X. Here I will write Y. So for every 1 unit of Y, what will be the number of units of X? That is 0.83X is equal to 1Y. Right? So this is how the country B will gain by manufacturing Y, because the disadvantage in the Y is less. Right? So what is the net gain here? Net gain here is, this is the net gain. When we talk about net gain here, this is 0.11 units of Y. Right? Why, sir? Because if country A would have manufactured Y, then they would have manufactured 0.89 units. Now, if they are going to import Y from B, they can manufacture import 1 unit. So there is a benefit of 0.11 units. Similarly, for country B, what will be the net gain? That will be 1 minus 0.83, that is 0.17x. If country B would have manufactured X, then country B would have manufactured 0.83 units in 1 hour, right? Now they can import easily 1 unit. So 0.17x is the benefit to the country B. Clear? This is your theory of comparative advantage. Right? Advantages and disadvantages are given. They say it is a simplistic model. Labor is considered as the only factor input. So there are advantages and disadvantages which are given in the book. You can easily read it from there, right? So this was the second theory, that is the theory of comparative advantage. Now comes another theory, another very small theory. The third theory that we have, a very small theory, sir. What is that theory? That theory says, third theory is comparative advantage with opportunity cost. Comparative advantage. Comparative advantage with opportunity cost. Right? Comparative advantage with opportunity cost. Now, what does this theory says? Comparative advantage with opportunity cost. He says if one country is going to manufacture a product, right, then obviously that country will lose out on the manufacturing of the other product, right? If let's say one country is manufacturing product X, then obviously they will not be manufacturing Y. They will not be getting any revenue from the manufacturing of product. Why? Because they are not doing any manufacturing, sir. So that is the product that they are losing. That is the opportunity cost. They could have produced, but they are not producing because they are not having the advantage or due to the comparative advantage, right? So he says, you are doing the comparative advantage, that is fine. This is the extended theory of David Ricardo. It was given by Habler. He says, but you have to consider the opportunity cost also. You cannot lose out on the opportunity cost, right? Okay, now we'll try to understand again with the help of example. I'll say there are two countries. One is country A and another one is country B. Country A and country B, right? So there are two products which can be manufactured. One is wheat, right, kg per hour, and another product is cloth, that is meters per hour, right? Now country A says I can manufacture 12 kg per hour. Country B says I can manufacture 2 kg per hour. Cloth, country A says I can manufacture 8 meters per hour. Country B says I can manufacture only 4. Now what is there? Country A is having absolute advantage in both the products. One thing is clear, sir, right? Country A is having absolute advantage in both the products, for wheat also, for cloth also, because country A can manufacture more number of units in 1 hour, right? More number of units in 1 hour. Now he says, let's say, as per the comparative analysis, we say that there can be an international trade as per David Ricardo, calculating the comparative analysis. Now he says, the Habler says you need to calculate the opportunity cost. How the opportunity cost can be calculated? Listen to it very carefully. He says, if country A produces wheat, so we are going to situation where he says the country A produces 12 units of wheat, right? Now what will happen, sir? If country A is going to manufacture 12 kg of wheat, that means this country will not manufacture 8 meters of the cloth, right? So what is the opportunity cost here? How to calculate the opportunity cost of producing 1 unit of wheat? He says, what is the opportunity cost of producing 1 unit of wheat? How can we calculate it? He says, for every 12 units, how many units of the cloth you will not be manufacturing? 8, right? For every 12 units of the wheat being manufactured, how many units of the cloth you will not be manufacturing? 8 units. So for every 1 unit, so there will be a cost of 8 units. For every 12 units, you are foregoing 8 units, right? That means there is an opportunity cost of 8 units. Now I want to say that for every 1 unit of wheat, this 12 units is of wheat. 12 units of wheat, 8 units of cloth. So what is the opportunity cost of 1 unit of wheat? That will be 8 by 12, right? That will be 2 by 3 of the cloth. This is the opportunity cost. Clear? This is the opportunity cost. Now he says, let's take another scenario. Let's take another scenario. Another scenario says that if country B produces wheat, then what will happen, sir? Produces wheat. Then what will be the scenario? If country B says, no, I will manufacture wheat, right? So what will happen? That means the country B will not be manufacturing cloth. Now, can you calculate the opportunity cost? Can you calculate the opportunity cost of calculating the wheat? For the country B, he says for every 2 units of wheat, what will be the opportunity cost for cloth? That is the 4 units of cloth. 4 units of cloth, right? For every 1 unit for every 1 unit of wheat, what is the opportunity cost of cloth? That is 4 by 2, that is 2C. That is 2C. Now, which of the propositions is having the lower opportunity cost? Which country is having the lower opportunity cost if they are manufacturing wheat? So I'm taking for the wheat. If country A decides to produce the wheat and export it to country B, then what is the opportunity cost? That is 2 by 3. But if country B says, no, I will manufacture wheat and export it to country A, then what is the opportunity cost? 2C. Now, which country is having the lower opportunity cost? Sir, country A is having the lower opportunity cost. That means the country A will manufacture wheat and export it to country B, right? So we can say from this that country A has lower opportunity cost, right? So country A will manufacture wheat. So country A will manufacture wheat and export to country B, right? Similarly, what you people will do is, this is your homework now, you will calculate the same thing for the cloth, that if country A wants to produce the cloth, then what will be the opportunity cost? And if country B wants to manufacture the cloth instead of wheat, then what will be the opportunity cost? And which country will having the lower opportunity cost for the cloth, right? So these were the three theories that I wanted to discuss in this particular lecture. Now what you have to do is you have to read from the books that what exactly how it is to be written, right? So advantage theories, theory of absolute advantage, theory of comparative advantage, and the theory of comparative advantage with opportunity cost. Now we are left with one major theory, that is Haksher-Ollin theory, that we will do. The factor endowment theory, it is also known as the factor endowment theory. This will cover, and the new trade theory. Only 2 theories and the chapter is complete in the next video, right? So see you guys in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, keep studying, keep sharing. Thank you so much.